The Great Wall is a movie that was released in China last year in 2016, but is getting a United States release this year in 2017. It stars Matt Damon and is directed by Zhang Yimou. I hope to God that I'm pronouncing his name right. If you don't know who that is, he is a visionary Chinese director who also directed Hero, and if you don't know what that movie is, it's that Jet Li action movie that came out a few years ago. It was actually really good. So two European stragglers or travelers or mercenaries or whatever you want to call them are traveling in a certain direction because they want to go find black powder. Along their journey, they stumble into a Great Wall, which we know as the Great Wall of China. Inside and on this Great Wall is this huge ass army that is sworn to protect China from this army of frog dragons. They have some other name in the movie called Tao fortune cookie or something. A frog and a Komodo dragon had a baby and grew an extra eye on the side of them. That's what they look like, basically. And so these things attack in waves, and they come and they attack the Great Wall, and this army has to defend China from them, and the Great Wall is the only thing standing in their way. And so Matt Damon and his friend get caught up in the middle of all of this, and that's basically how we have our movie. Matt Damon in a movie about the Great Wall of China with a big-ass Chinese army fighting against some really interesting looking creatures. I mean, that just sounds interesting by itself. Was it interesting? The mindless action sequences, I mean, they're entertaining, they're there, they are what they are. I would say overall, visually, the cinematography for this thing is pretty good, but the thing I like the most about this movie, the costume design. The costume design in this movie is really awesome. Every character has an interesting or colorful or cool looking outfit, and it really popped off the screen when I saw it. In fact, I would say that the color palette for this movie is pretty awesome in general. I mean, it's a very colorful movie, it's very well lit. So definitely there's some entertaining action sequences, and visually the movie looks good, and the costume design. Beyond that though, Man, this movie had the potential to be a really fun-ass movie, but instead I gotta call it what it is. This movie's pretty damn bland. I think the thing that hurt this movie the most for me is the characters. I just really didn't have a great connection with any of these characters. I mean, Matt Damon, he sets up as this character who all he fights for is money and for survival and stuff like that, and so him joining this army or fighting with this army, it's like it's his chance for redemption, basically. His chance to become something bigger, and we've seen that sort of story before, and that could have been really interesting. It's just the way they executed the shit is just not interesting at all. They have a couple of funny moments with Matt Damon and his partner in this movie, but that just can't cover up for the fact that the majority of this movie is actually kind of boring. The characters are boring. There's nothing interesting about the characters, and I think a lot of this stems from the fact that the acting in this movie is kind of cardboard. Yeah, it's cookie cutter acting. It's very generic, and it just makes the characters feel and seem and act generic as well. Some of the acting is actually on and off. Like, sometimes an actor would act in a scene and I'd be like, oh, okay, that was pretty decent. And then another scene happens where I'm just kind of like, whoa. Why did you guys think that that was a good idea to shoot and film and cut and put that in this thing? Matt Damon's accent goes up and down and disappears at different times during this movie. There's one scene in particular where he's on top of the Great Wall and he's talking to this chick. He sounds normal in one instant, and then in the very next second he gets a Scottish accent for no reason at all. It's really jarring too. He's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then, no, I don't think so, my darling, because trust is something that I cannot afford to have. I'm like, what? Also, Willem Dafoe. You like Willem Dafoe? I like Willem Dafoe. He was a great Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe, why are you in this movie? There's a subplot with Willem Dafoe and Matt Damon and Matt Damon's partner that just kind of feels like you could have removed it from the movie entirely. That's okay, Willem Dafoe. Times must be tough. You earned that paycheck. The finale of this movie tries to be this big thing. It tries to be really exciting, but I just feel like the thing could have been cut together better. It's kind of cluttered. It's kind of all over the place, and characters do a whole bunch of jumping through hoops to get a job done when, if you really think about it, they could have just cut right to the chase and done things a little bit smoother. And as a result, the finale is just kind of jarring, and it's hard to really buy into it. Like, they do this so that they can do this so that they can do this. And I'm just kind of like, well, why didn't you just do this? And you could have just saved the day anyways. And I just... It's not a bad movie, this is not a terrible movie, it's just not a very interesting movie, despite the fact that it has an interesting premise, and it has what you would think would be interesting characters and actors in it. It's just right in that gray area that Iron Man was talking to Spider-Man about in Homecoming. That little gray area in between of doing what you would do and doing what you wouldn't do. And I will say that the Great Wall is really a fortress of solitude. Alright guys, The Great Wall, that comes out this weekend. Check that out. I will have some more reviews coming up for you, including my Too Fast, Too Furious review, dropping in the next few days. Stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.